philosophers are now quite confused, but the devotees are guided by clear logic. According to them, all objects and actions that we perceive are reflected on the Supreme Reflecting Plate. If this reflection does not take place, the existence of an object or action remains unsubstantiated. Suppose you come in contact with an object. To you the object is real because the vibrations of that object are reflected on your mental plate. You extend your hand and your hand feels the existence of that object. Due to this tactile contact, you accept that the object exists. Likewise, when the vibrations of external objects transmitted through your nerves are reflected on your chitta, and those vibrations on the chitta are reflected on the aham tattva, and those on the aham tattva are reflected on the mahatattva. And finally, when those on the mahatattva are reflected on the unit consciousness, you have attained your real atma or soul. Although the atma itself has no merits or defects, it is affected by the samskaras of the mind. Only when the unit consciousness is fully reflected on the Supreme Reflecting Plate, cosmic consciousness, is the real Parama Puruśa attained. The philosophers are finally convinced by this cogent logic. When you realize that everything is Parama Puruśa, you will have to channelize all your physical, psychic and spiritual faculties, all your hopes and aspirations, longings and desires towards that Supreme Entity. Only then will you come in the closest proximity to Him. Let us take an analogy. Yata darpana bhavo abhashano mukam vidyate kalpana himikam tata divyoge nirabhashako yaha saha nityo palabdi svarupe matma. Suppose there is a certain person surrounded by 15 or 20 mirrors. In those mirrors, 15 or 20 faces are reflected. Each mirror thinks that it possesses a particular face. The real face is amused at this, because it knows that it is not possessed by any mirror. Those faces reflected in the mirrors are just like the microcosmic minds. Every human being, every unit entity has a mind. In matter, mind is dormant, but the potentiality of mind is ever present. Mind even exists in wood, rocks, sand, stone, etc. Wherever there is the expression of mind, there is also the reflection of the unit consciousness. Through scientific research, this dormant mind may also express itself one day, even in matter. It is not at all impossible. A tiny grain of sand today will one day be transformed into a great scholar, an extraordinary personality. Every atom has that possibility. Thus, those reflected faces in the mirror are the unit consciousnesses. The real face is Parama Puruśa. When this reflection is stopped, the unit consciousness will also cease to exist, and the existential I-feeling of the microcosm will also cease to exist. But how to do this? The task of all the images in the mirrors is to rush headlong and merge themselves in the Supreme Entity. That is, the devotees must channelize their minds towards Parama Puruśa and stop all reflections forever. Tata diviyoge nirabhashako yaha. When they merge their I-feeling, mahatattva, with all their joys and sorrows, thoughts and moods, hopes and aspirations in Parama Puruśa, there remains no reflection and no unit consciousness. There remains only the one Supreme Entity. They should not attach any importance to obstacles. They may meet along the way. Trampling down on the thorns on the path, they must move ahead, undaunted. Parama Puruśa is also attracting all created beings towards himself, and they consciously or unconsciously are moving towards him. No one can escape this movement. When people realize that they are moving towards Him, the speed of their movement is tremendously accelerated. They move on, meeting no defeat. Shotiyejan vanshirtane sekitakai patirpane. Those who rush in response to the call of the divine flute, do they pause to look back? Whatever might be the obstacles, the devotee must move on like a flying bird. True spiritual aspirants will never be frightened by any circumstances, for they are born warriors, ready to move on amidst all struggles. They will smash all obstacles relentlessly. This is the creed of their lives. What is the result of this headlong rush towards the Supreme One? The result is that one becomes one with the Supreme Entity. Hence the devotees channelize all their longings and urges towards that Supreme One. They recognize only that one and no second entity. I narrated a story some time ago that is highly illustrative. Once a few people asked Hanuman, "You know that Rama and Narayan are one and the same entity. What is the meaning of Narayana?" The Sanskrit word Nara has three meanings. One is water, Nira, Nitram, Toyam, Jalam, Udakam, Kambalam, Paniyam, Ka. The second meaning is devotion. Nara plus da equals Narada, that is, one who distributes devotion. If we take the first meaning of the word Nara, in that case Narada means the person who supplies water in the railway station. The third meaning of the word Nara is Parama Prakriti, or the supreme operative principle. Here the suffix ayana means shelter, so Nara plus ayana equals Narayana. Parama Puruśa, who is the shelter of Prakriti. Likewise, the book in which the character of Rama is described is called the Ramayana. The word Rama means Parama Puruśa. Ramante yoginaha yasminsaha, the one whose very thought exalts the spiritual aspirants, is Rama. The light of the earth comes from the sun, the light of the moon also comes from the sun, and the light of the sun comes from Parama Puruśa. No entity possesses any light of its own. Na tatra suryo bhatir na chandra tarakam tema vidyuto banti kuto yamagnihi tvameva bantama nubati sarvam tasya vasha sarvamidam vibhati. Before that effulgent supreme entity, neither the sun shines, nor the moon, nor the stars, nor does the lightning flash, what to speak of fire. In Parama Puruśa's light all other entities shine. His effulgence illuminates all luminous entities. Rati Mahidara Ramaha. The first letter of the word Rati is Ra, and the first letter of the word Mahidara is Ma. From his word Rama has come. This may also be explained. Ravanasya Maranam. Here, Ravana means all the baser propensities of the mind. Since all these baser propensities work in 10 directions, it is said that they are like a 10-headed demon. If one seeks to annihilate this demon, one will have to take the shelter of Parama Puruśa. The entity who is instrumental in that annihilation is called Rama. Thus you see the meaning of Rama and of Narayana is the same. When Hanuman was asked why he was so insistent on taking the name of Rama, never taking the name Narayana, he promptly replied, Shrinate yana kinate shabeda paramatmani tatapi mama sarvasvaha ramaha kamala loshana. I know by philosophical analysis that there is no difference between Narayana and Rama, and yet I will channelize my mind towards one entity and not many. For me there is no Narayana, there is only Rama. Likewise for the genuine spiritual aspirants, there is only one entity. and they rush only towards that Supreme One. Their minds move only in one direction, not in 1,000 directions. The devotees say, Tarekam smaramaha, tarekam yapama, tarekam yagat, sakshi rupam namamaha. If I remember anyone, I will remember only that one entity and not many. If I repeat anyone's name, I will repeat only the name of the Lord. If I ever salute anyone, I will salute only the Supreme One and no one else. The rule is, if you pay salutations to a human being, you should say Namaskar. But if you pay salutations to Parama Puruśa, you must say Namaste. Namaste means I salute thee. Human beings are greeted with the word Namaskar because they are considered to be the expressions of the Supreme Being. They should not be greeted with Namaste. In the case of Parama Puruśa, either Namaste or Namaskar is permissible. The mental strength that develops through one-pointed concentration accelerates the speed of the aspirant's mind. When they proceed towards Parama Puruśa with accelerated speed, they are destined to reach him. Always bear in mind that the Lord of the philosophers, Jnanis, is only an impersonal God, whereas the Lord of the devotees is a personal God. A personal relationship is established between the devotees and their Lord. The Lord of the philosophers bears so many glamorous epithets that it is difficult to understand him. He sits like a magistrate, presiding majestically over his courtroom, trying human beings according to various sections and subsections of the Pental Code. The relationship between the devotees and their Lord, however, is very intimate. Here the question of courts or law does not arise. There is only a sweet relationship of love between them. Thoughts, fears, anxieties are the concerns of the philosophers, and hence the Lord also remains somewhat aloof from them. The difference between the philosophers and the devotees is illustrated in the following shloka. Brihachata divya mashintya rupam sukshma cha tat sukshmataram vibhati durat sudure tadi hantikesha pashyachvi eva nihitam guhayam. The Lord is far, far away from the philosophers, but the devotees know that their Lord is in the innermost recesses of their hearts. The philosophers say that the Lord is beyond the reach of the ordinary human mind, but the devotees say that the Lord resides within the innermost cavity of the human mind, as the subtlest entity, subtler than any subtle creation. He is the closest entity to the human heart. Tumare pache sahaje paitai ki eta lilashal bahire yader hashir shata bitare take shokeryal bujigo ami bujitava shalama yekata tumi parite shao sekata tumi palana. Tumare pache sahaje dari kichui tava kinara dasher dale feligo pache vimuk tumi viruptai bujigu ami bujigu tava shalana ye pate tumi shalito ye pate tumi shalite shao se pate tumi shalana Shava sheye adik ogotai ki tumi firiyayao kelar gare kelar mata biksha yari bashiye dao buyechi ami tava shalana Shavar shahe tripti haro tumar tite halana. Do you playfully avoid me, lest I should attain you easily? Those who observe Do you playfully avoid me, lest I should attain you easily? Those who outwardly smile, but inwardly shed tears of sorrow. These tricks of yours I understand, O Lord. You do not say exactly what you want to convey, lest I should attain you easily. You have made yourself boundless. When I treat you as an ordinary entity, you turn your face away from me. I understand your tricks, O Lord, I understand. You do not walk the path which you want to tread. You always demand the maximum, and if we give you anything less, you turn your face away from us. Everyone else may be satisfied with his or her lot, but you alone remain ever unsatisfied. When human beings ask for money, they must send some application letters. But when Parama Puruśa wants something from you, he will not ask for it, he will demand it. What he will ask you for, you will hesitate to give, for he will ask